A detrimental winter storm is on key for many along the south. I will have all the latest news on this winter storm, including snowfall totals and all of the biggest impact. Right here is the latest NAM model, and we're currently looking at Texas. As we play this through, you can see there starts to be some freezing rain for areas north of Austin, Texas. Earlier in the week, it seemed like areas like Dallas, Fort Worth could be dealing with a ton of inches of snow, but this has now shifted to be more of an ice storm for the Texas area. Although we are still 2 days away from this event, so it could easily shift back to being a more snow-dominant storm in Texas. But because of this will actually make it a lot more of a severe storm for areas of Texas, as freezing rain is a lot more deadly and a lot more hazardous than snow. Snow is good old fun, but freezing rain will cause power outages, it'll cause ice on the roads, and lots of stuff that we do not want. And if we continue to play this through, as you can see, because of this new pattern of the storm, it dumps inches of snow on Oklahoma and Arkansas instead. So now it looks like the main snow hotspot will be in Arkansas for this storm. If we continue to play this out, we can see how the NAM finishes out this run, and it does finish out this run with a lot of snow in Texas actually. So if you do want snow in Texas, you're going to have to wait for the back side of the system. As the front side, as it's developing, it looks like it will mostly just be ice. Then you can see the storm races off to Tennessee and North Carolina, which we'll get to later. So if I'm going to be honest, the NAM is likely what's going to happen. But here's a model that shows the worst case scenario. As you can see, this model is dumping a lot of ice on Dallas-Fort Worth area. This also has freezing rain extending to the central western part of Texas. And if we play this through even more, it looks like north of Austin, there could be some extremely heavy freezing rain, which would cause major impact. And then as this blows off to the east, this has a lot of freezing rain. So now the reason why this one is very extreme is because of the freezing rain totals out of this model. This is a worst case scenario for freezing rain. Areas in northeast Texas with an inch of freezing rain. Areas at the Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi line with areas of 1.5 inches of freezing rain. This very likely will not happen, but this does set the stage for the ceiling of this ice storm. So now let's talk about the fun part. This is the NAM's snowfall accumulation in 24 hours. So as we play this through, you can see that at the front end of the system, you do not get that much snow, less than an inch at Dallas-Fort Worth, but then as the backside of the system comes through, those 24-hour snow totals jump up to around 3 inches in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then areas around the Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas line, that's where you can see upwards of 6 to 7 inches of snow. That's likely where your snow hotspot is going to be with the system. And then as we play this through even further, as you can see, the snow is going all the way into Tennessee with some heavy snow around 6 inches in some place in Tennessee. And then to give you an idea of probably one of the lower bound models for freezing rain, this is also the NAM. As you can see, the most freezing rain is falling around southwest of Dallas-Fort Worth. That's where you can get around 3/4 of an inch of freezing rain, which will cause major impacts. That will cause lots of ice on the road and lots of power lines. But then as you can see, once you get east of Dallas, there's not that much freezing rain. I mean, there's still around 1/4 of an inch in certain areas, which can cause major problems, but not nearly as much as that high ceiling model that we're looking at. So we would hope that what happens in the NAM is actually what's going to happen, as that has less freezing rain. And then, since this event is around 3 days away from the Deep South, we do have to use the GFS for this. So here's the latest GFS's 24-hour snowfall totals. So as you can see, in that area that we were talking about around Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, it is predicting around 5 inches of snow. So this is a global model, so it is a lot less resolution than the other models, which means it can't really pick out where it's going to see the heaviest snow on a county basis, but it can kind of show you where it's going to get the biggest snow in around a 50-mile radius. So as we play this through, as you can see, areas like a Little Rock can get around 6 inches of snow in 24 hours. And then areas where you position yourselves, where you're about 10 miles north of the freezing rain, that's where you can see the heaviest of snowfall totals. So if this does play out as it's saying, the northern Mississippi and northern Alabama state line could see upwards of 9 inches of snow. Now, this is highly unlikely, and this is a global model, so it is probably inaccurate, and this is still 3 days away, so of course take it with a grain of salt. Areas in the Deep South and Tennessee can see around 9 inches of snow in 24 hours. And then as we play this through, as you can see, it moves its way into the East Coast. We're going to change this view to be a little bit more north. But as you can see, areas like Charlotte with around 1 to 2 inches of snow. Areas with around Greensboro for around 2 to 4 inches of snow, and areas like Raleigh with around 1 to 2 inches of snow per the GFS. And then areas of the Appalachians and far eastern Tennessee can see around 7 inches of snow, not locally, but regionally for all of East Tennessee. And then taking this a bit more north, as you can see, there's our system moving through, and you can see areas like eastern Kentucky will see around 3 to 4 inches of snow. Areas like southern Virginia could be a hot spot. Areas like Lynchburg, Virginia could see around 6 inches of snow from this per the GFS. And then this doesn't really look like a northeast event. You know, areas like Delaware could see around up to 6 inches of snow as well. But for the rest of the northeast, it doesn't look like you guys will really get too much of a snowstorm from this. Now, if we look at this, this is our winter storm severity index. So basically, this just tells you how much will this winter storm impact your day-to-day life. This accounts for things like power outages, closed roads, and other inconveniences. So areas that see a lot of ice normally have the highest totals on this, but then also areas that can see large amounts of snow can see high totals on this. So as you can see, our hotspot looks to be about southeast of Dallas. As you can see, that little extreme area right there, that is very specific. So mostly I would just say there is a major risk for areas of Dallas, Fort Worth, and eastward, as that's likely where you're going to see a mix of a lot of snow and ice. Now, it is too far away to tell for the deep south, but it looks like Arkansas could have some moderate to major impacts. Now, if we look here where this dark blue is, those are winter storm watches. So that's where you're likely to get winter storm conditions, and based on your office, that probably means around 3 to 5 inches of snow in 24 hours, or around 1/4 of an inch or more of ice in 12 hours. So these are likely the areas with the highest impact, stretching from Tennessee all the way to Texas. Around the same time tomorrow, we should have winter storm watches that go all the way to the Appalachian Mountains. So stay tuned for tomorrow, as I may upload a video on that as well. And then the next thing I do want to show you is what our next system is going to be. So here's our current system down there in Southern California. This is causing heavy winds and lots of wildfires, actually, in Southern California. And then this system, as you can see, it kind of dies. So our system, it's actually really strong right now. It looked like it would be an amazing winter storm. Like, it could even be better than it's expected to be. But it kind of gets cut off and it gets a little bit disorganized. But it's still going to drop a lot of snow and ice around the south. And then as you can see, it's kind of a lull. There's not that many major winter storms that are popping up. But then as you can see, once we get to around the 20th time period, we could see some more winter storms like this. This won't actually play out as it is, because this is the last forecast hour of the GFS, which has like a 1% chance of happening. But if this did happen, that would be a crazy winter storm for areas like Kansas. And then that would also make for a crazy severe weather outbreak in areas like Louisiana. So around the 20th is whenever we're looking for our next winter storm. And in between there, you will likely just see snow in the normal areas like the Northeast and the Midwest that always see snow from Clipper system. Now, that is really all. I hope you guys did enjoy. And if you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Have you seen snow yet this season? I would definitely like to know. But that is all. I'll see you guys in the next video.